Breaking news at 5, another historic indictment. Donald Trump charged in the January 6th probe. The former president accused of obstructing a bedrock function of U.S. government, fueling lies to try and overturn the election results. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on KCAL News at 5 on CBS Los Angeles. I'm Pat Harvey.
And I'm Jeff Vaughn. We're also streaming live on CBS News Los Angeles. Well, tonight, former President Donald Trump indicted on 4 charges related to the January 6th investigation. They are a conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights.
And let's get right to KCAL News political reporter Tom Wade, who's been following it all. He has more on the charges, the reaction, and Tom, what happens next?
Well, Pat, as you said, this is historic, and there is a court appearance schedule. We'll get to that in just a second. But first off, in the court filing, the special prosecutor says former President Trump not only spread false claims about the 2020 election, the prosecutor says Trump knew he was spreading lies. The 45-page indictment claims the former president repeatedly lied about the election results, dismissing advice from his staff and aides to tell the truth. The special prosecutor says handwritten notes from former Vice President Pence also detailed how Trump tried relentlessly to convince Pence to help him obstruct the certification of electoral votes. 6 unnamed co-conspirators are alleged by the indictment to have been enlisted to assist Trump in his criminal efforts to, quote, overturn the election and retain power. Special counsel Jack Smith spoke a short time ago after the indictment was unsealed.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
President Trump's campaign released a statement that reads, in part, the lawlessness of these persecutions of President Trump and his supporters is reminiscent of Nazi Germany in the 1930s, the former Soviet Union, and other authoritarian dictatorial regimes. President Trump has always followed the law and Constitution with advice from many highly accomplished attorneys. We asked former federal prosecutor Scott Tenley what stands out most to him in this indictment.
As we expected, the special counsel has alleged a vast conspiracy to overturn the results of the election, and it's comprehensive. It involves efforts to use the Justice Department, efforts to have the states themselves overturn the election, efforts to use violence on January 6th in order to pressure Congress. And it really is just kind of an all-encompassing indictment that paints a very terrible picture of the president's conduct in the post-election period.
Trump has been ordered to appear in federal court in Washington, D.C. on Thursday afternoon. Meanwhile, the special counsel says the investigation of other individuals connected with this case continues. There is so much going on here. Obviously, a pretty fluid situation as we get more developments.
There's no question about that. We can't not notice the fact that this is going to take place Thursday.
Correct.
When former President Trump appears in federal court in Washington, D.C. What do we know about security? Are they discussing this so far? Have there been actions taken already?
Well, to your point, I mean, this is where the attempted insurrection took place, right? So this is the absolute nerve center here of the country, and so there will be beefed up security. There has been some discussion about whether this could be done by video, maybe by Zoom. It has not been confirmed yet. Most likely what we're seeing from various legal experts is that he will appear, but you're right, Pat. I mean, this is where we saw that horrible violence unfold. So certainly if he does appear there, there's going to be incredible security.
Tom, we know 4 charges today, but I'd like you to put it into perspective here. There are 3 cases currently against Trump. So how many charges in all is he facing right now?
Well, a report by Bloomberg just a short time ago said that there are 78 total charges from the former president against the former president. And let's not forget, there could be a 4th case. The prosecutor in Fulton County, Georgia, where Atlanta is, Fani Willis, has said that she is, quote, ready to go over the weekend. Okay. She didn't say who she's ready to go prosecute, but there has also been stepped up security there at the Fulton County Courthouse. So we know that charges are likely imminent there, but we just don't know who they may be against.
And, with all of this happening, there is a full schedule still for Donald Trump. In fact, he's supposed to appear here in California.
That's correct.
In a couple of months, is
Yep.
that correct?
The California Republican Party announced today that he's their first confirmed keynote speaker for their convention this fall. And also, to your point, there's a debate that he may or may not attend.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But we know he's coming here to California.
That's right. They've been promoting that all day, Pat.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tom, thank you so much for your insight, and we'll be talking to you later throughout the evening.
Thanks, Pat.